Hey Munsters, I have some new comic book reviews, and as always, they're brought to you by Primal Paper Comics, where you can get my comic Red Knight, as well as The Ends, Willpower, Dogs and Sailors. 41 is out of print at the moment, but it is coming back. You can also get this sampler off of the comic book, off of the Primal Paper Comics website. Just go to the links below. And we also added a Tumblr. By the way, speaking of Tumblr, you can check out my Tumblr and my Twitter and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, let's get to comic books. And let's go to, let's do some Marvel first and move on. Issue, what is this? 3 of X-Men! And it's by Brian Wood and, Olivia Coppel. And, God, this is a really good book, actually. First off, the art. I'll just start actually talking about the art. I love Coppel's art so much. He has that kind of, exciting kind of Marvel Image, Jim Lee-ish kind of quality in his energy and his detail. But there's such a human element in his work that I just love it. It's actually he's becoming one of my favorite artists, actually. When I see him put on a project, I'm actually very happy. And I was really excited that he did the opening arc for this storyline. It's just, just scenes of them sitting in the car, to me, is just as cool as, the big action sequences. Just how he puts these pages together. And, by the way, we are finishing up the first story arc, where we're dealing with those crazy alien twins. One of them named, Sublime. I guess he's, hitting them with 90s music. And his evil sister trying to take over the world. And it's kind of a two-pronged attack, because there's the internal attack that's going on at the school, and the one over in Budapest. The main team goes over, while Kitty Pryde and some students take on what's going on at the school. By the way, I've never really seen Bling before. I've seen her, but I'm really not too familiar with the character, and she comes off really interesting here. I wouldn't mind seeing more of her. And I think in this issue, if Jubilee hadn't decided last issue, I think in this issue, she definitely decides to keep the baby. By the way, I discovered in the letter column here, my question has been answered. Jubilee still is a vampire. So that's going to be addressed, I'm told, in future issues. I hope that's resolved, actually. I'm not sure if I want her to stay a vampire. By the way, yeah, let's also let a vampire keep a baby, too. I don't know if that's the best move. But this is fantastic. This was a great opening story arc. I really enjoyed this. 5 ram chips. Actually, we're finishing a lot of story arcs, come to think of it. Over here in Captain Marvel, number 14, by Kelly Sue DeConnick, Scott Hepburn, with Geraldo Sendova. Actually, I have to be a little non-spoiler on this one, because Lindsay's been reading my copies, and she's kind of gotten behind on the Enemy Within story arc. So, blah, blah, blah stuff happens. I actually also dig the art on this. I actually like Hepburn's art as well. And I think Hepburn actually is my favorite artist on this title so far. I've really liked his work, and I actually wish he would stick around on this comic, because I think his kind of style, I think, would work really well with this series and what DeConnick is doing. There's some pages I really loved. I love this shot of Captain Marvel flying up into the air and talking to Spider-Woman on her comm link. And they're not next to each other, but the way Hepburn places them right here, she's bleeding and screaming right to her. I love that's what you can do with comics. That's a really cool panel layout. But anyway, this comes to head as a really great conclusion to beat, Yon Rog is this villain's name. But actually, he changed his name to the Magnetron. So, he's a 1980s TV, and he actually has come up with a pretty good plan of destroying New York and starting to take over the world. Everyone wants to do it. He's going to have to fight these people afterwards. I'm, curious, like, what happens if, like, 2 villain plots go well, then they're gonna have to start fighting each other. Like, you guys just might as well just give up. There's just too many fucking villains. Even if you beat the X-Men or the Avengers or whatever, you gotta deal with each other. Might not be a bad idea for a what if, by the way. Anyway, to beat him, Captain Marvel actually does what he doesn't expect. It's quite an emotional final scene, and I'm very interested in what's going on. It's going to be connected to the Infinity crossover, but from what I understand, you don't really need to read the Infinity crossover to get it, because I think it kind of plays into what DeConnick's doing here anyway. Love this a lot. As usual, DeConnick is really great at the slow burn in her stories, where it comes together really well, and once again, happening again. 5 RAM chips. If you're not reading Captain Marvel, I do recommend it. You should pick it up. And Fearless Defenders, issue 7, by Colin Bunn, and guest artist Stephanie Hands. And they're having a lot of guest artists on these books, and wow, they're killing it. I gotta say. When last we left these Fearless Defenders, the story ends with Valkyrie being possessed by the Death Maiden, and the only way to stop her is to kind of shock her out of it. And Annabelle tries to plead her to come to her senses, and she ends up killing Annabelle. That shocks her out of it, and pretty much the Defenders break up. Actually, Misty Knight is not having it. I mean, she doesn't. At the end, there's a great moment where Valkyrie has a speech about building up and moving on, and she's basically thinking, "Fuck that! You just killed Annabelle." So I mean, that's a pretty good reaction, I'd say. Well, we meet Annabelle in Valhalla because she was doing Viking stuff and died bravely. So she goes to Valhalla, and she is bored out of her mind. Nice place though, but she just feels out of place, and she's kind of a wallflower for eternity, so that doesn't sound too awesome for her. And of course, Valkyrie feels a little responsible for what happened. And actually, let's not forget, they had kind of some sort of chemistry going on between the two of them. So heartbroken, she goes to Valhalla to get her, and they also run into she also runs into these trolls, and she runs into the sorceress. What's her name? I'm not too familiar with this character. Claire, I guess. Anyway, she knows how to help her, but there has to be some sort of sacrifice, and it's not the kind of sacrifice you usually hear in these stories where you want to try and bring someone back to life. It's an interesting sacrifice that's going to cause a lot of story issues, let's just say. And Stephanie Hand's art is stunningly beautiful in this issue. I don't know if her style would be appropriate for every month, but oh my god, I mean, this book is just beautiful to look at. I think it was actually maybe my favorite looking book of the week. I just think every page is just fantasy porn. I mean, really. It's just fantastic. Dig this one a lot. 5 RAM chips. And I think I'm going to get a perfect set here, because issue 24 of Ninja Turtles came out, and it's by the usual gang. Let's see, Kevin Eastman, Bobby Curnow, Tom Waltz, story by Tom Waltz, and Matis Santaloco doing the art. He, of course, was the artist on the Secret History of the Foot Clan. And as far as I'm concerned, this guy can draw whatever the hell he wants, because he is just amazing. Anyway, last we left, Shredder and the Foot Clan had kidnapped Casey Jones, bringing out Splinter, the Ninja Turtles, and April, and pretty much all the gang to go rescue him. Shredder surprises them by nearly fatally stabbing Casey. In the mix, in the fight, in the confusion, Leonardo is kidnapped, and by the Japanese witch, the fox spirit witch Ketsum. She basically kind of brainwashes Leonardo last issue with magic, convincing him that Shredder is good and his real true father, whereas Splinter is evil and has been setting him up like a rube this whole time. So Splinter and the Turtles, along with Old Hob and let's see, Slash, go to kidnap him, but it looks like Old Hob has basically like double-crossed them. Actually, he promised Shredder he would deliver the Turtles, and he told the Turtles he could help them find Leonardo. So basically, he didn't screw everybody. Quite a line you're walking, Hob. You're quite a mischievous cat in people clothes. But anyway, that leads to what they hope is a rescue attempt, but they end up fighting Leonardo himself, who is totally brainwashed now. So, yeah, this is pretty brutal, actually. This is actually really good, heart-stopping kind of action, and it's pretty emotional here because they're confused and heartbroken and betrayed, and they escape just barely with their lives. So, yeah, Leonardo right now is working for Shredder. This is a great book. This is 5 Ram Chips. This is a fantastic series. This is easily one of the best comics I read right now. This is the Ninja Turtles book. That's it for now. I did have some other books, but I didn't have enough spare change to buy them all. Daredevil came out this week. I wanted to get it. I'll probably be reviewing it next week. So I think that's it for now. Push the button, Lindsay.